I literally hovered. Hello and welcome to Happy Foot, Sad Foot. I'm your host, Travis Helwig. Here, this was going to be a nice little fun romp around to add Vince to the team. But Vince, you're coming in hot, I would say. How are you feeling?
Not great. The game was over like in the first 15 minutes when you miss 4 chances. Did you see what you were in the stadium, but so you probably didn't. Do you know what the expected goals was at halftime?
I didn't see it, but I did anticipate that it was a lot.
Do you want to guess?
I don't really know how that stat works. What's high?
I know that, but that's why I want you to guess.
The price of a ticket.
Close. It was at like 1.67, which honestly
at halftime.
At halftime. So like a lot of teams, 1.67 would be at like a decent-ish game, not for LAFC. LAFC generally tries to get up in the 2s. And again, we're talking about expected goals, which I'm sure right now everyone's like, shut the fuck up, Vince. We don't want to talk about expected goals. It's a stat that like doesn't really mean anything to anyone, but it just goes to show you the amount of chances that they had and the amount of goals that they should have had in that first half.
Yeah, okay, Darren's still setting up his stuff. He's about to come on. He's in the room with me, so if any of the audio or anything sounds weird, let us know. We'll try to fix it. Let's get it out of the way. That was a fucking bummer, right? Yeah. Like, just from a vibe standpoint, that was a bummer. And it all started with Denny Bouanga not hitting Carlos Vela. Carlos Vela losing his shit in a way we've never seen him do on anyone that isn't Bob Bradley. And then for the rest of the game, the front line completely out of whack. It just, I
wouldn't say that. They got a bunch more chances.
But they were always a step off, to me, at least.
I honestly think they just didn't finish. In the second half, they weren't as good, but I just come on.
Okay. Do you think the second half had anything to do with the sub that came on? Okay, now we're echoing. I hear that echo.
Yeah, you guys are.
Okay, we're sharing a mic.
Share the mic.
Unplug yours. We're next to each other, guys.
Wait, share the mic, but Darren, you still get your own camera. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that.
Yeah, what is can you hear me?
Can we hear Darren?
I can, not quite as good.
All right.
Not quite as
well. Now?
Yeah, you're better there. Oh, this is going about as well as that first half.
Vince, what happened? You're smart.
Look, there's going to be times in this sport, and I know this is going to drive people crazy because you want some big explanation, but you don't score, and and the other team punches you in the face, and there's nothing you can do. And so that goal that they scored, John probably could have done better. It was well angled, let's put it that way, to get down that low. But I don't think he's expecting him to shoot sliding in like that and from that angle. But he scores, and then you still go on, and you probably could score 3 more goals after that, and you don't. I honestly don't quite understand the Kellen change, just because I thought Kellen was playing really well, and I don't think they needed more offense. Steve said at halftime, we're just looking to get some more offense, maybe get some second chance opportunities from outside the box, which is fine. But I don't think it actually affected the game per se. But it was just lack of finishing, and Miami's goals were super timely. To get that second goal when they did, LAFC was just kind of wait, we thought we were going to just fly out here, get a goal, and then really change this game, and it didn't happen that way.
Yeah. What do you think, Darren? You're next to me.
Should I just go on your camera?
No, this is fun.
It's weirdly out of sync.
Let's just make it all weird. It's just everything's weird. Let's just go weird.
Today was weird. Man, it was tough seeing them get that many chances. What was the shots? Shots on goal was even.
22 shots. 22 shots total.
Okay, sad foot. Denny Bouanga. Yeah. We have never seen him play a game like that for us. And he's played Messi before, and he's scored against Messi before.
Sure.
What the fuck was going on in his head? He fully had the yips. He wanted it so bad. He missed that shot or he missed the pass to Vela. And I don't know if he was in his head before then, but he sure as hell was in his head after then. I wish Vela didn't give it to him quite so hard. I'm not going to blame Vela for Bouanga's bad game, but I've never seen Vela act like that ever. I don't know. It certainly didn't help Bouanga's confidence.
Sure. Yeah, and if you're the captain, you've got to weigh what that can do to a player. But you would think a player Bouanga's caliber, like he knows it's a mistake, he can get over it. We've seen Bouanga be wasteful though. He's not necessarily, he can be a lethal finisher, but I wouldn't say that's his MO. So we've kind of been used to that. But usually what we see is he misses one or two and then he sharpens up and buries the next two or three. That just didn't happen tonight.
I want to say a couple of happy foots because it's going to be a miserable one. Ryan Hollingshead slide tackling Messi clean. Very happy that exists in the world that he was able to do that. Then scored a goal. We outplayed them in the first half. I know we lost by 3-1. I also thought we did a good job at stopping Messi's attack, but he's just so good that he can find those passes. Mm-hmm. And the McCarthy save that Selena Gomez reacted to, we'll have the video of Selena Gomez reacting to that save for the rest of our lives. And I think that's worth thinking about. And after minute 7, I disassociated, and that was a really wonderful thing for me. I enjoyed no longer feeling emotion. Darren, anything?
Can I add one that you guys wouldn't have seen because you guys were in stadium? A shot of Leonardo DiCaprio just being a creeper eating a popsicle on the broadcast was just, I can't explain it. Leonardo DiCaprio, obviously a fantastic actor, but he's a weirdo, right? Like he's a really big weirdo. But it just was like housing a popsicle, and it was very odd.
I looked like they showed him on the big screen here too at one point. It looked like he was just trying desperately to not be seen.
Yeah.
And it didn't work, I guess.
I'm going to say he was 100% on some drug. He looked on a drug. And I don't know if it was MDMA or if it was cocaine, but he was out of it. This isn't what people are here for. This isn't what people are here for. We're here to be mad at Denny Bouanga.
Yeah. I was joking with, because I've been watching this game here with some friends, and we were like, I wonder what is the I'm sorry gift that he has to get Carlos Vela. Is it a Rolex? Will he be buying him a car? Like how do they work that out?
I mean, that made me scared that they don't like each other. That reaction was rough. I don't know. It was I mean, maybe Vela wanted it a lot. But
they both did, clearly.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Bouanga missed the frame every shot he took or went straight to the keeper. The other thing I think we need to say is that when Chiellini got hurt and Aaron Long was moved directly onto Messi, things got really gross. And I don't think that what was it, the third goal? He passed the ball directly to the greatest player on the planet.
Yeah, but that's game state. I know people really want to, like, again, if you want a scapegoat, you're going to find Aaron Long and you're going to go for him anyways. But like, they're pushing forward. Aaron Long, I mean, yes, maybe don't try to chest that down because you so badly want to keep possession. Maybe just kick it. I mean, Messi's right there. Don't mess around. Don't take a chance. But it's 2-0, right? So what, in the grand scheme of things, does it really matter?
I don't know, man. I feel bad.
I think we should bring a guest on.
Let's bring on Kirk. Kirk from the Counter Press podcast. Welcome to the show. Tell us a smart thing. And are you going to make us feel bad or good, Kirk? You let us know.
What would you guys prefer? I'm here at your service.
Despair.
Kirk, there's no chance you could make us feel good after that result.
Yeah, it does. It's good. Happy foot. The first 20 minutes, I mean, they suffocated Miami's back line trying to play out of the back. And what do you do to keep Sergio Busquets from being effective? Don't let those awful center backs that they have in possession play the ball to him. And I mean, they were all over him. And I thought Kellen Acosta was a huge part of that. I think Vince already mentioned it, but I was really surprised by that sub. Kellen kind of missed a pass by forcing it to Bouanga like in the first 2 or 3 minutes in the 18. And it was like, oh, man, that wasn't great. But then he just kept winning every single ball in the midfield. And normally I'm a guy, like, I just want the midfield to keep possession, keep the ball moving, right? Be the protagonist in the game. But the way that he just scooped up every single loose ball, that's what had me really worried going into the second half, was not having him there. And you see it in the second goal where Ilya's caught way upfield trying to defend Busquets, not trying to go in too hard. And if you get Busquets that time, he's going to kill you. So just brutal.
Vince, just so you know, I muted your mic a little bit because we heard some folks in the background. If you want to chime in, just unmute it. I mean, I'm talking too much, Darren. Go. I feel that game was within our capacity to win. And I think that's what was frustrating, is that if we made our fucking chances at the beginning of that game, if Bouanga passed off that ball, the entire vibe of the entire game changes. And I know that you guys are very technical, but I really do think that energy matters in games like this, where there's a lot of fucking passion on the line. And there being that amount of negativity early on fucked with a lot of heads, I think. And Bouanga didn't have a decent shot for the rest of the game. He fucked up so many times after that because he knew how badly he fucked up. I don't know, Darren, what do you think?
Yeah, the feeling that I kept having throughout the match was just we should be beating this team. Like, they were good. They had weapons. It's obviously not the same Miami team that we would have seen a year ago or earlier this season. But like, the situation we were in, like every 2 minutes, I was like, well, this is not the situation we should be in right now.
Can I ask a question? Do you guys think that this is a championship contending team? Do you think we can win a trophy this year?
Yeah, I mean, look, they're still like what they did in the first 20 minutes, like Kirk said, is like if you do that and you get rewarded for it, and then as you said, Travis, like there's energy that goes with it, you can keep rolling it forward. And we've seen this LAFC team, they score in bunches. I think Kirk and the counter press have pointed out the problem is when they do get bogged down and then they have to play in a set offense, that worries you. But look, if teams give them chances, they finish them. They can't. I mean, they're supremely talented. You from top to bottom, even with Messi on this Miami roster, you still would say that LAFC is probably a more talented team. Maybe Messi just blows that up just by himself, but I would say top to bottom, you would take mostly LAFC players. And I like that you pointed out, like, yeah, maybe, and I'll let Kirk kind of take over from you. You know, we're maybe technical, but that's what we just like to talk about. But I think Kirk agrees with me that isn't always how the game is decided. Sometimes the game is just decided on shitty things like finishing or bad energy or bad vibes. It's not always. That's what drives me crazy sometimes, is we always want someone to blame. Unfortunately, sometimes it's not really someone or a tactic or a game plan to blame. It's just like you didn't finish, the other team did, and the momentum of the game shifts and you can never get it back. But to answer your question, I do think that LAFC is still a championship team. But what we've learned is, I think we've learned that if Miami sneaks into the playoffs, they're very much in one-off in these little, 2 out of 3 series that they're going to have. They as well. I think in MLS, it's all about having finishers. And if you have Messi on your team, you have a finisher and you can goals change games. And ultimately that's really what gets you over the top.
Kirk, is Vince right or dumb?
I think he's 100% right. I think this game easily goes the other way if Bouanga makes one pass. One wide open pass that everybody can see. When you see the reverse angle from behind the goal, it's like shocking. I tweeted it out earlier. Like, Calendar's in position. Kamal Miller's right in front of him. And he just it's unbelievable. Vela's so wide open, he's not even in the shot. He's like at the top of the 18.
It's almost the pass that Messi played to Campagna.
Yeah.
If you lay that ball at that pace that Messi laid to Campagna, then Vela left-footed, he buries it.
Exactly, because Kamal Miller's doing the same thing that Tillman was doing, right? Just trying to get back and recover. So you don't even have to cut him back. It's just a pass out wide. Vela will do the rest, right? That ball is in the goal every single time. And then you give up a really bizarre goal, like you guys pointed out. I don't really know who to blame on that one. The ball gets through. Chiellini's kind of out of position. Long was caught up field.
I thought McCarthy maybe didn't know a shot was coming. I think he was surprised by the shot.
Are you talking about the first goal?
And I mean, even then, it's like off the inside of the post.
That was the slowest I've ever seen a ball roll into a net.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, and the vibe of the whole game would have been different if it was 0-0 at half as well.
Yeah, like, or even 1-1, I think, would have been way different. Sorry.
No, yeah, it just like we got no breaks. Ted Uncle, I don't blame the refs ever. That yellow early on also fucks with Matty Bogush's head, who I thought
did not like that yellow at all.
and then
was
doesn't
so
get the yellow
soft.
later in the game and goes over to fucking Dolo to yell at him or whatever. It just like Ted Uncle makes me want to fucking punch myself in the head. I hate Ted Uncle so much.
He could have redeemed himself if he would have gone double yellow on Farias. Yeah. He pulls down Matty Boguc on a breakaway. I think it was Boguc at the end. And then he kicks the ball away too. That's real. I mean, that would be incredibly harsh to give 2 different yellows for that. But man, that first yellow on Boguc that had me sweating bullets because it's like he's the most active midfielder, and you're trying to contain Busquets. And I thought Boguc had a great game coming back and defending both Busquets and Messi whenever they were on the ball. Just tough. I think ultimately they're fine in 3 out of 4 phases of the game, and they do not attack well if they're not in transition. It's as if they don't know what they're doing. It's bizarre to watch.
Taylor Ferguson's been waiting patiently. Let's bring him on. Taylor, welcome to the show. Thank you for waiting.
Of course. How are you?
At the stadium right now?
Yeah, I usually get some autographs after the game, and now it's just a bunch of Messi stands, and I've been telling him he's gone already, but they don't listen. But yeah, no, I usually call with something insightful to say that I've been waiting like 2 or 3 weeks to bring up, but this time I'm just calling for comfort, honestly. It was just
okay. It
was not great. No, Vince has mentioned this multiple times. When teams play in a low block or just let us have some of the possession, we don't know how to break that down. I mean, we had some good tight passing, but then all of a sudden it looked like we weren't on the same page in those transitions as well with the tight passing. Like you'd have someone going one way, ball going the other way. Like what's missing there? Gonzalez looked fine, but he wasn't wowing me. It was just something was missing up there, and I don't have the brains to know what.
If I had to take a stab at it, it's rhythm, because in the first half, I mean, not everything was in transition. There were times when they played against a set defense and they moved the ball around quickly. But when you're so and Kirk will probably back me up on this, when you're so adamant about going direct and going fast and getting one pass to goal, you kind of get in that mindset where you can't do anything else. I saw them in their buildup. Literally, they're just knocking the ball around the back line in order to then find that direct ball. They're not looking to play through the midfield. They're not looking to play. When they do get set, like they'll play long and they can play those rotations, which kind of is their style play. Rotations, guys moving, but they're antsy and there's no rhythm. And that's maybe that gives me some hope, because I think they have the talent to do it, and we saw them do it a little bit last year, but I don't know. They're just so transition heavy, and I don't know if it's hard to tell if it's coached or if it's just like, if it works, why wouldn't you continue to try to do that? But they don't seem to have. There's no plan B. Like when stuff goes wrong, they're like, well, this is all we have.
I agree with everything you just said. Vince, are you at a house party?
Yeah.
Will you give us a tour of the house party?
Oh, it's a big house.
We got time, man. You want to talk about
that means there are things going on that we can't see.
And also I'm plugged in, so you know.
All right. We all know that Vince is there's a fat table of cocaine outside the room. I think I'm gonna mute you for a second just because I can hear the folks. Gonzalez was a little bit rough to me, but he didn't do anything wrong. He just seemed sort of absent. And then there was a lot of Vela and Bouanga running around. I was so concerned about our defense that game. And I do think we kind of did all right for a lot of the game. I thought we had a pretty strong midfield and defense for a lot of that game. But Miami is now a team that if they get 3 chances, they're going to score 3 fucking goals. And because if you mark Messi well, he knows how to find the open guy, and that guy's going to score. And we no longer Miami, if they get into the playoffs, are the favorites to win MLS Cup. I don't think there's a doubt about that anymore. We played better than them a lot of that game, and we looked like trash by the end of it.
I think one thing I was noticing, and tell me if I'm just wrong, this is basically me just talking to myself and be like, okay, experts are on the phone. Am I wrong? Ilie plays a great, dropping back, playing between the defenders. Tillman, when he does it, I feel like he just needs to run at people and draw people in. I feel like we're too quick to lob it upfield, and anytime we actually Ilie dumps it off to either be it Acosta or Tillman have been pretty okay on the ball. and they just kind of immediately are looking for the pass instead of taking it 10, 15, 20 yards and drawing people in at times.
I mean, it just goes back to what we were saying. Like, what is the idea in possession? What is the idea in build up? It seems like it is get it to your front three, and then everyone get forward, play in the half spaces, do your rotations. But there's no ideas to play through the levels, go through, or as people might say, go through the phases of build up. It's like there's an early phase, and then it's long, and then let's just see if we can get up there. And if we can't get it, they are such a good team in their counter press that they can usually win and then recreate some kind of transition. Again, I don't know if that's just coached into them or if, they go out there and they're like, look, if it's working, let's go for it. And because you got to remember there is some part of this that the players have it on their own. That's why I always try to say, like, be careful when you try to put tactics on these guys, not knowing what the actual tactics were. We're always kind of guessing at what we think happened. But for all we know, yeah, Steve could have been like, guys, don't even worry about the middle of the field. Forget Busquets. Let's get it over him. Let's go. That could be it. And but it seems like more and more we're not having any kind of second phase of build up or build up through the center of the field like some other teams. I'm going to plug myself. I'm going to be writing an article on the Columbus Crew for Backheeled.
You're fired. You're fired.
Sorry. I'm writing. And so I've been watching a lot of Columbus Crew, and the way that they build through their midfielders is night and day with the way that LAFC does. And it just becomes that's contrast for me, having watched those two, has just become that much more stark.
So I think that goes back to your earlier point too, Vince, about like it's all in transition. We don't really know what they're doing. And even if they're knocking the ball around the back and it kind of looks like possession, they're just waiting to hit another long ball forward. And I think you're probably right about the counter pressing idea. Like, hey, we're good at it. Let's win the ball higher up the field. It's a bit of Barnsley ball almost, right? And so I would just love to see them hold on to the ball, play it into the midfield, play it out of the midfield, play it wide, and just shift a few defenders out of position every once in a while, and then attack that space that they vacate. But I think you're right. I just don't think that's the way they play. And at some point, I'm just gonna have to get over it and accept it. But until that time, you can all tune in here and to the counter press to hear me commiserate.
We've got another guest waiting. Taylor, do you have any parting words for us before we have to say goodbye?
Quickly, Happy Foot. Section 213 has got like 10 friends of the foot at this point. It's LAX Andy. We've got everybody. It's a great community you guys have started. So thank you for that. Sad Foot. I saw Messi get to play live for the first time and leave feeling sad. That's how I feel. All right. Thank you guys for having me. See you.
Thank you for joining us.
You'll be happy that you went. You'll be happy in the future that you saw us get decimated by Messi. Thank you, Taylor.
All right. We do have one more guest waiting to join.
I gotta say, wait, Geoff, we have too much negativity going on. So I just want you to know, you coming in here, flipping us the bird, you're going to talk about Aaron Long, I'm sure. You're going to say, where was Stipe Buke? And I just want to say to you, Geoff, if you really are a heel, you'd be celebrating right now. That's what you would be doing.
You know what I'd like to celebrate is me being right. That's the most important thing about tonight, is that I was fucking right. That all you cowards who said, Aaron Long's so good, he's so good, why are you so hard on him? We need a fucking MLS Defender of the Year. That's the MLS Defender of the Year, guys. Involved in all 3 goals. First goal, his fault. Second goal, his fault. Third goal, definitely 100% his fucking fault. You got to give the ball to the best fucking player alive on that fucking bullshit? You know what I'm saying? Like this is the guy we had to give $1 million to. God forbid we fucking roll with Traore. Could anyone be worse? Could Traore be worse?
I turned my headphones. I took my headphones off. I took my headphones off for all of that, and I came back to hearing $1 million. And I just want to say, you have one fucking point. You make 1 point over and over again.
It's the right point, Travis. It's correct. It's like a person saying, isn't water good or oxygen good or death bad? It's the correct point. He's a bum. He's a coward. Why is he on the team? He's a coward. $1 million.
Leave it to Geoff to blame it on labor. He blames it on labor. He's like, why is he making $1 million? He's blaming it on labor.
Management. Speaking of labor, Vince, congratulations on getting on the pod. You really deserve it, and I'm really proud of you, and I'm happy to have you, making money off what you deserve and the Substack and so forth. But if John Thornton signed you for $1 million as a center back, you couldn't do worse than what happened tonight. You understand? You should be making that $1 million, not this fucking bum Aaron Long. Oh, what a coward. What a fool. We had the entire world watching, and they saw that shit. That's what our team is. Look at that crest. Whoop. Whatever that
Adidas?
Adidas.
You could tell I've been drinking. Listen,
that's
I
Adidas.
had to have some beers to
There
get
it
that
is.
off.
Adidas
Howard
is
is
that's pretty
foolish.
accurate, actually. Yeah.
Adidas is actually pretty stoked. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm sure they're really happy.
They're
Yeah, I
doing
mean,
great this season.
you know what
Adidas is
I
having a
could
great
have gotten
season.
for my tickets tonight, guys? I could have gotten $1,300, and instead I paid to watch that. That's what happened instead of $1,300. Watching Aaron Long chest the ball to the best player alive on the counter. What
Listen,
a
I
team,
think Aaron
huh,
Long
fellas?
seemed to have a fresh haircut. I thought it looked pretty good.
Yeah. You think it was $1,300 or more? You think?
$1 million.
What's your take on that, Darren?
It's $1 million haircut.
What a terrible thing. What an awful thing we do
Geoff,
ourselves. You know what I
I
mean?
want you to drive safe.
Listen, I'm taking the train, pal, because I knew this shit was gonna happen. There's no way I'm driving home after having to drink myself to death to fucking forget Aaron Long exists. By the way, I'm never listening to this podcast. No one talks to me about this ever because I'm gonna have to fucking remember Aaron Long. Dog shit. Thank you for asking. Hey,
Geoff,
this fella's asking me how the game went. He's a real smart guy. I went on a podcast. Yeah. Can you say fuck Aaron Long real quick?
Aaron Long?
Oh, yeah. Fuck that guy. All right. I'll see you later. Take it easy, brother. Great night, guys. Great night.
Hey, Geoff, I just want you to know that Nut in the comments said that he got $2,500 for his tickets.
That guy's the smartest guy on this podcast. He's smarter than all five of us put together.
Here's
You know
want
what
to
I
know
mean?
the truth is that I got access to the press box. I didn't need tickets. I could have sold my tickets and still gone to the game, but I was like, no, I want to sit in my seats. That's how fucking dumb I am.
You know, that's my happy for it, that at least somebody's stupider than I am. Yeah. Thanks, Travis.
Okay.
That's genuinely hard work.
Geoff, we're gonna kick you off because we got a lot of intelligent people here that might have something to add.
Yeah. Also,
You know
everyone
what?
in the comments was
Have
just like,
all
"Oh my
those
God, we
intelligent
hate
people
Geoff.
talk about
We
talk
don't
about how
like when
right
he's
they were."
on. We got to kick him off." Oh yeah. Okay. Looks like he was going through a tunnel there.
Geoff was having a shocker.
Geoff is always welcome back, of course. But sometimes we just lose him.
He'll get over it.
That was a respectable rant, though. Come on, guys. That was good.
It was fair.
He's back. Say one.
Oh, no, he's
say
back.
one nice thing about the team, Geoff.
Fuck. You know what? I think the color scheme's really good. I think the green really makes my eyes pop. I really like that. You know what I mean? And it's nice to root for a feeder team. I didn't realize that before.
Oh God.
God.
Okay, he's gone. He's
All
gone.
right,
He's
Geoff
gone. We
Tock.
feel bad enough. Listen. I'm vibing with Geoff tonight.
Listen, I think now that he's gone, it's probably a good time to say he makes some good points sometimes.
That was a really rough 2 minutes from Long leading up to that third goal. I think, like Vince said, it is a bit of game state where he's the only center back around, and Campana, he's trying to stop the ball from going to Campana, but in doing so, he forgets that Lionel Messi exists, which is a cardinal sin. But 35 seconds before that, he steps into the midfield, wins a ball. I was like, oh, there's Aaron Long, and he's winning a ball way upfield. Here we go. And there's no pressure around him. Nobody steps to pressure him. And he plays a ball sideways to Tillman in between two defenders. And Tillman has to come up with a bit of magic, wriggle his way away from all that pressure. And then the turnover comes that leads to the goal. And it's like, oh, dude, just hold on to that ball. But again, it's not his game. It's never going to be his game. You got to accept that.
Yeah, not his strong suit ever.
And
I mean, Giorgio had some buttes of passes that were just wasted. That's why you put Giorgio with Aaron, right? And then when you have Aaron, like you said, game state, you have Aaron with Murray, who Murray is like, YOLO, I'm just going to go up and try to be a center forward. Then it really puts him under pressure. I understand Geoff being upset, and I love Geoff. I love the energy that he brings, but to blame Aaron for all three goals, it's a little rough. It's a little steep.
yeah.
I do want to say I'm not going to blame Aaron Long for all three goals.
But there's a but coming.
Well, I'm going to say something way more dramatic. And I know that Vince is going to get mad at me for this because he's relentlessly rational in these emotional times.
Well, sometimes I have to see these people. And he's much bigger than I am.
If you can't speak truth to power, you don't belong on this podcast. Patreon.com/happyfootsadfoot if you want to give Vince money. We have a new tier too if you want to pay a little bit more now that we're splitting it three ways. Just putting that right in the middle. Look, this team doesn't feel like last year. This doesn't feel like a team that can win 5 games in a row in the playoffs. I know we had a decent run for a little bit at the beginning of the season. I'm not a tactical guy. I'm not a strategy guy. I have mental illness and I understand how it's feeling. And if you're a player on this team, I don't think you have the confidence that you had last year going into the playoffs. And I don't think, like, we just got decimated by Charlotte because we were thinking about this game. And then this is going to be incredibly demoralizing. Like, this is the game they were looking forward to. We thought we were we're going to commit regicide. This is not, at the beginning of the season, even before this game, I was like, I think we can win MLS Cup. I don't know if this team mentally can survive for the rest of the season through the playoffs. I know we're good. I know we have talent. Can we win MLS Cup? Can we get first in the West even? I have no fucking idea.
Yeah, that would be my caveat. Like, obviously we saw Messi, greatest player of all time. He has Miami humming. They may not even make the playoffs. But other than them, who inspires great confidence in you where you're like, that team is just it's not a great year for great teams in MLS, to be totally honest with you.
I think that's a common thing every year where it's like a team kind of almost comes out of nowhere. Yeah, LAFC to a certain extent, right? They had that awful stretch through August and into September last year, and then all of a sudden turned it back on and kind of, played this epic game in the MLS Cup final, but like a lot of that was just kind of skating by a lot of the time. So I don't know. I don't think Cincinnati's as good as everybody thinks they are. I think St. Louis can surprise people because, like, you saw LAFC swarm Miami today with their press. I think if St. Louis can hold on to that press through a couple games in the playoffs, then they can surprise some people. But I think you're right. I don't know who else is going to really jump out and be completely dominant.
It's becoming a pattern, though. How many big games can we rack up losses in one season?
Oh, God damn it, Darren! You
use
said
Vince's
the big game
word.
thing. I swear to God. And this was a trap game with a team with Lionel Messi on it.
Why should it not be said out loud?
Because everyone gets to pick and choose when they decide what a big game is. They're like, only finals are big games, but not every team gets into the final.
Game. I don't mean a big game tactically. I don't mean a big game like in terms of impact on there's a reason why the tickets were more expensive. There's a reason why more people watched the game. There's a reason why. I don't have to explain why a cup finals is a big game. Like, sure. A big game, why a layman would describe a big game. An important game for what feels like how people judge the status of the club.
On the balance of things,
public pressure.
Right. On the balance of things, and obviously this is now in hindsight because we haven't done the playoffs yet. Obviously last year they were able to get through it and win the big games that I guess mattered. But on the balance of things, they have won some big games. I would say getting into a final is winning big games. I would say finally beating the Galaxy at the Galaxy is winning a big game. But yes, they've dropped some as well. And that goes back to our talk about inconsistency. And there's no supremely great team, I think, in MLS this year. But would you say that we have won or lost more big games this season? I think it's clear that we've lost more than we've won, right? Like, I know we had Philadelphia. The Philadelphia game was big. Sure.
And you're right. We got into the Galaxy game was big. But if you look at this point, you have to at least say, okay, there's a couple, like, I don't know what, 4 big games that we've lost, and we've maybe won 2. If we drop El Tráfico at home, boy, is it going to feel like that's a real pattern, right? Like, that's kind of a must win now for us emotionally, is we have to win El Tráfico at home, right?
Sure. But then, welcome to MLS. You still get a chance in the playoffs to then make it all up. Like, if they drop all those and then win MLS Cup, like, that's the thing. Like, if you keep a register of big games, like, I don't know how much it really means something. Like, I just hate the idea of, like, deciding when big games are. I understand. I like to look at this team, and I do look at this team from top to bottom talent, and I say that they should and can compete in every single game they're in. I can't say that for every team that will make it into the playoffs.
Yeah, I understand.
I think maybe the better way to characterize it is you see a bit of fool's gold in a lot of these wins from LAFC, where they put up a 4-piece on somebody, and you're like, They're unstoppable. This team will never lose another game. 7-1 against Juarez, right? You're like, ugh, how could they ever get beaten? And then it's like the next game they come out and they get beaten, right? So if they can jump on somebody in transition, I think again, going back to tonight's game, if they jump on Miami in transition, go up 1-0, even if they give up that weird goal and they go into half 1-1, I don't think Dolo makes the same change, right? And he stays the course, and maybe you come out with a win. I don't know, but I think we almost hype up the team too much in some of these big wins because they're fun and they're scoring goals in bunches because teams are completely broken open and they're just boat racing them. But maybe it's, they don't win a whole lot of close games. Maybe that's a better way to say it.
They have a way of making those games where they score a lot of goals in retrospect seem like not a big game. Like, oh, well, that must have not been much of a test. They just ran up the score. So, yeah, that didn't really count for much.
I think the biggest thing for me with this team is that they do not control games the way that they did last season. They were able to control games in different ways. And this season, the only way they can control games is if they can get at teams in transition and then make them pay by scoring goals. But they cannot control games in any other fashion. And that's maybe something look, the coaching staff is much smarter than all four of us. They know this. It doesn't mean that they're going to be able to fix it, but I'm sure that they're saying the same type of thing.
I'm very smart.
Why are we not?
I got to say, I'm really smart. And I have a master's degree, and I just need to say that out loud. But keep going. Yeah, I have a master's degree. Don't ask what it's in. Keep going.
No, I mean, it's control. I don't know. That just kind of came to me the more we were talking about this game. It's like when you say they can't win close games, that's control. And control means a lot of different things. It's being good in possession, or it's being able to play in a low block and do things. And I know Steve says that the team can do it. I've yet to see them do it on a consistent basis.
Quickly, I just want to point out a comment that made me laugh out loud from our friend Tunip Dan. Beating Monterey Bay was a big game.
The biggest.
It is canon that we won, I believe, 40 goals.
Yeah, I hate to break it to you. If you really did think that beating Juarez 7-1 was like a big deal, then you need to pay attention to more soccer.
All right, we've got LAX Andy joining us on the show now, or now he's being renamed 5 Freeway Andy, as he is, I'm assuming, on the 5, not driving, right?
No, I'm successfully pulled over. There was some traffic on the 5. But before I get into my nonsense,
I hear Messi's in town.
Yeah, it was a bit of before I get into my nonsense. We're talking about big games. What's a big game? What isn't a big game? This season, every game we've been playing every single game is a big game. It's a big game for the opponent because we are the defending MLS Cup champions, and every opponent is going to get up for us. This is the game against us is the game that's circled on the calendar of every opponent. Not to make excuses or anything. I just wanted to point that out. I think every single game that we're playing for that reason is a big game.
I think that's really smart. I think that's really smart, LAX Andy. Hit us with why you
I have a master's degree too. Thank you.
Oh, what is it in?
Public policy, but
hell yeah, cool. Okay, don't worry about what mine's in. Keep going.
No, but that said, this was a terrible night. This was the worst night I've ever had walking back to. Oh, shout out to Section 213. The worst night I've ever had walking back to my car. First of all, the BD app guy was closed up. All the vendors selling their Messi jerseys. It was real rough. It was really, really sad. And God, I was really for a million reasons. I was standing in the supporter section today and was trying to cheer and chant. And I feel like I was surrounded by so many folks that hadn't been to a game before. We were trying to do the jump to the left, jump to the right, and like they wouldn't move. This was a downer, guys. It really sucks. There's no other way around it. And yeah. I got in my car. It was about a 20-minute wait for you guys to start. So I meditated for 10 minutes. That really helped.
Hell yeah.
I really recommend everybody do that tonight. And yeah, just had to say this one really sucks. There's no other way around it. But
yeah, I
anyway,
want to say
thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks for always calling in, LAX Andy. Get home safe. We love you.
That was good stuff right there.
Oh no, I was going to say goodbye to our good friend.
Meditation rules. You're the best, Andy. I just want to say, normally we have to get into this room. The opposing team is usually in here, like filming the game, like their technical staff is in this room, and they normally get out pretty quickly. I was already sad, but waiting for the Inter Miami guy to close up. And I think he knew that I was waiting for him and decided he was going to be a fucking asshole and just like took his fucking time. And I'm very thankful to be here. I'm really thankful to be here in this room, but God damn it. Fuck that man. We were 20 minutes late to doing this podcast, and I'm thankful to the all of you watching. It means a lot that you're watching, but if you have a reason to hate Inter Miami, it's not Messi, it's not Busquets, it's that motherfucker with a camera in this room. I'll beat his fucking ass. Everyone meditate. I need to meditate.
I'm gonna go ahead and disagree. I saw this guy. Look, I need to make sure that everyone has a complete perspective of what the situation was in this room. This was one guy with like an insane amount of gear. As someone who's had to pack up a lot of gear, I really felt for the guy. He had to do everything all by himself. I think he was just like, look, I have a lot of shit here. This is overwhelming. I really felt for the guy.
The real villain is David Beckham for not hiring more interns when his team grew, right?
I love David Beckham. Is that okay to say?
Happy foot, David Beckham.
And on that bombshell, we'll see you guys later. Wow.
Okay, hold on. Let's get some.
You guys ever see Bend It like Beckham?
Me and Darren are just yelling when the mic's not near us. We're never going to do this again in the same room. We had no idea how to do this.
Well, there were two ways we could have done it, and it turns out the other way will work.
Yeah, not going to try it again. Not going to trust you, Darren. Kirk, anything else? Let's go around the horn. Anything else you want to say about this game before we all go commit ritual seppuku?
So I have 2 master's degrees. So
fuck,
you can all.
What is it in?
Wait, Darren,
well,
are you and I the only one? Yeah, I have none
You're
as
a
well.
master's
So
degree.
just me and Darren, we're the dummies here.
Jeez, this is the most overeducated podcast in MLS history.
Yeah, definitely.
What are your master's degrees?
One is in applied exercise science, and the other's in MBA, which was the most useless thing I ever did.
And you're also in the military, right?
Oh, they paid for both of them. So
Hell yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, go. Yeah, I wish I did that. I was in debt for a very long time. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
The most overeducated dumb Marine you've ever met. Does anybody know? I guess the last thing I have really is what is going on with the field this season. It looked awful on TV. I can only imagine it looked that bad, and I feel like this is a constant thing this year. And maybe this is what we have to blame all our woes on this year.
Me and Darren have fought about it. He thinks it's water. I'm pretty sure it's like a sand or a dirt. Vince, you worked for the club before. I don't know what happened. What is going on with the field? Do you know?
There is sand that's used, so that's what comes up. I mean, look, there's concerts, guys. You got to pay the bills. Yeah, sand is used to kind of it actually helps with the water and fills things in. So, but to Kirk's point, yeah, it was clumping up a lot more than normally. What you saw in the first 20 minutes is what you would see at the end of the game. But keep in mind global warming and all the other crazy stuff. I mean, like, no, I'm being dead. Being dead serious.
We're always seeing these sprinklers on the field, and it's just like that's a lot of sprinklers. There's a lot of water going on the field right now.
That's because the players like the way the ball whips around, and that's an aesthetic thing, and that's more of like a playability thing. But yeah, the grass is made for beautiful Southern California warm days, and then if you have all these rainy days, and then also you have concerts. Let me just say this for the people that are like, it's grass, it can't be that hard. It's a lot crazier than you think, and I've had these long conversations because for some reason I'm a glutton for punishment and one to learn about these things. There's a lot that goes into it.
So for the MLS conspiracists out there, it really is just a real estate scam where you get people to build stadiums and then you can have concerts on the fields.
Concerts.
I feel like that's true of everything in a city. What the business is not important. It's just real estate.
Are we about to have like a NIMBY YIMBY
I think
debate on the show?
Wrap it up. I think maybe we should wrap the show up.
Sadfoot, global warming, NIMBYs.
It sounds like we've reached that time.
Happy Foot, we got a Miami troll in the comments. I'm always happy when people from other teams hang out. Look, Kirk, thank you so much for hanging out. Where can people find you if they want to listen to you or follow you?
At Kirk Kinsey on Twitter, and the Counterpress podcast is available everywhere. So we need a host for tonight if you want to join.
I don't want to talk about this team anymore, Kirk.
Fair.
Darren, do you want to talk about it?
You can find me at Vince, what's your Substack?
It's vincelarosa.substack.com. And
Vince,
now find me forever and always at the Happy Foot Sad Foot Patreon.
That's right. I think that we should also note a big happy foot for us today is that this is you've been doing this for a bit with us, but now it is official and formal. Vince is on the post games, on the show permanently. We have a third Happy Foot Sad Foot host.
And if you want to support him, you go to patreon.com/happyfootsadfoot. You can check out his Substack. And he's going to start doing some exclusive content. He's going to have his own podcast. We're going to figure out a lot of stuff along the way, but some of that will be in front of the paywall. Some of it will be behind. So I'm excited to share with you guys once we're ready to launch that stuff. Geoff Tock's in the comments. Thanks to Geoff for always hanging out. Vince, anything you want to leave us with?
Global warming is real, guys. It's a real thing.
Global warming is what's that guy's name? Vivek. Vivek says it's a hoax. Whatever that man's name. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Whatever. Okay.
Sadly, I do.
Folks, let's the team's bad now.
Who we playing next?
Tomorrow's a holiday. Just go
Next
drink,
match?
guys, and we'll see you next match.
We do have a match to look forward to. We have El Tráfico.
Yeah, there's always another game.
El Tráfico is always very fun, right? We never get stressed out for that one. Thank you so much for hanging out. This was a blast. Kirk, thank you for always coming by. We love when you're here. Vince, thank you for your first official co-host gig with us. Darren, it was a pleasure sharing a room with you, and congrats on your gig. I know what it is now, and I'm not going to tell you guys, but Darren was on the field tonight. Everyone, we love you. Please subscribe. Please follow. If you like the podcast, please rate and review it 5 stars. We stopped saying that, and I forgot that that's important. Rate and review it 5 stars. What else? Anything else we got to plug?
No, just make us just like your favorite Uber driver. That's 5 stars.
Okay, I'm gonna go walk to my car now and crash off a bridge. I love you. Bye.
Bye. Love you. Bye.